Yeah, hello and welcome everyone. Today we are going to discuss the business economics paper that we got yesterday. So most of the questions were from the class notes, the quick revision notes, and of course the those 1800 MCQ bundle that I have shared. So barring a few questions, that will always be the case in every examination. Around 85 to 90 questions were straight away from the class notes and the batch of MCQs that was given to my students. So let's figure out one question. Now, first, this particular question says marginal standing facility. We all know what is marginal standing facility. Uh, it is the when the banks are into crisis, when they have already exhausted liquidity adjustment facility window, then they can borrow additionally by dipping into their SLR on which there is a penal rate of interest. So MSF is usually 1% higher, is kept 1% higher than the repo rate. So MSF rate is repo rate plus one repo rate plus one MSF rate. This is correct. And MSF rate, repo rate plus 1% or one base. That this seems to be also correct, though it's very vague, option number one, but I'll go with option one and three. So C is the correct answer. According to Friedman, question number two, according to Friedman, how does price level as a determinant affect the nominal demand for money? We have already studied that price level. The very first thing that we wrote when we studied about the demand for money, and I mentioned that when the price level increases, then the purchasing power of money falls down. So household and businesses have to hold relatively more sum of money to take care of their current transactions. So whether it's liquidity preference, whether it's cash balance approach, whether it's Friedman theory, restatement of the asset price theory, they all said the same thing. So uh, how does the price level as a determinant affect the nominal demand for money? A rise in the price level increases the demand for money and vice versa. This is correct. Now, why not this one? It is negatively related to the demand for money. How is it possible? Because when the price level increases, then you will want to have more money to take care. I mean, your living cost increases, of course, right? Liquidity trap, we know that in case of liquidity trap, what happens when the rate of interest falls down significantly to the lower level and the bond price must be very high. So people don't want to spend too much of money into bonds. So they hold most of their cash close to their chest. So it will create a liquidity trap. So speculative demand for money perfectly elastic reflects to interest rate, making speculative demand for money parallel to the x-axis. You see, it becomes parallel to the x-axis. That is a liquidity trap. Then you have to calculate M3 here in this case, broad money. M3 is what? M1 plus what else? M1, if you add post office saving deposit, it will become M2. But if you add time deposit with the bank, it will become M3. So currency with public, that is 2250. Demand deposits of public with bank, this will also be added. Total post office saving deposit not added. Time deposit with bank, you have to add. Saving deposit with the bank, we don't add. So if you add these three, you'll get around the value is 3415, which is correct, whichever student marked it. Which monetary tool is used to check temporary liquidity mismatch due to foreign capital inflow? It is usually open market operation. Now, ABC Limited, a based company, imports machinery from country B. Recently, country A introduced measure that requires all importers to pay 25% of total value of 3 months in advance before the goods arrive. Which measure has been adopted? I've told you know this is financial measure, all right? This is not measure again, affecting competition. This is financial measure wherein government will restrict your access to the foreign exchange. Government can bar access to foreign exchange for particular commodity, or government can completely, government can say that you require upfront payment, let's say 25%, 40% of the value of import. So these are all considered as financial measure. Who propose that a country should export goods in which has greater absolute advantage and import goods in which it has its absolute advantage is comparatively less. It is David Ricardo. Because what did David Ricardo said? That if a country has absolute disadvantage in both the commodities, in the production of both the commodities, then also trade is possible. You have to find out in which commodity you have lower absolute disadvantage. In whichever commodity you have lower absolute disadvantage, it means you have comparative advantage in that particular commodity. Which of the following consists of a group of countries that have free trade agreement among themselves and may apply common external tariff? Again, specifically covered trading block or trade block. Country X has seen an increase in the real effective exchange rate. Real effective exchange rate, it is increasing, or even when nominal exchange rate it is increasing, your currency is depreciating. Domestic currency is depreciating. Country X goods are becoming more expensive for foreign buyers, means export becomes expensive for us, and import from other countries have become cheaper. What is the likely impact of country X? So exports from country X will become less competitive. This is correct. Imports from country X will become more expensive. No, imports will become cheaper. Exports from country X will increase. No, it will decrease. Imports from country X will decrease. No, it will increase. In which of the following forms FDI, 100% FDI is allowed under the automatic route for airport projects in India? Greenfield investment. For brownfield, it is 75% only. The government of India has imposed tariff on steel products 5% ad valorem or 800 rupees per ton, whichever is higher. It is an example of mixed tariff. Whichever is higher is mixed tariff, again covered in the class. If we both are added together, then it will become compound tariff. For this, they have not said added together, whichever is higher, they have said. So mixed tariff. Which of the following is not the advantage of fixed exchange rate? It enhances international trade and investment. Yes, because there is a stability. Increase speculation on exchange rate movement. No, there will be no movement as such, big movement. So there will be no speculation. So they have asked you not the advantage. So this is one. Avoids currency fluctuation and eliminates exchange rate risk. Yes, this is the advantage. Enhances credibility of country's monetary policy. Yes, because when there is no frequent volatility in the exchange rate, then the monetary policy need not be change much, because sudden import and export, surge in export and surge in import is not going to happen due to appreciation and depreciation. Right. So increase in speculation on the exchange rate movement, this does not happen in a fixed exchange rate. Rest happens. Anti-dumping duty is a protectionist tariff imposed by the importing country, all right, that a domestic government imposes on the import that it believes price below their own production cost, or when the same commodity is sold in to in the country where it is exported at a much lower price than what the company charges in their home country. All right. Which of the following is not an example of technical barrier to trade? Technical barrier to trade. So technical means anything related to product, quality standard, eco labeling, organic certification is all related to the product. They all are technical. Import quotas are non-technical, non-tariff and non-technical. I've told you that non-tariff measures can be divided into technical and non-technical. Technical is related to with regard to the product itself, right? Non-technical with regard to the process of import. So import quota is related to the process of import, so it's a non-technical. A US-based cell phone service provider expands its operation in India by offering the same telecommunication service as it does in the US. This type of investment is an example of horizontal direct investment. When a company invests into another company, another business which produces the factor input, that is vertical. And when two unrelated businesses they invest into one another, they are conglomerate. The dash includes a stable and transparent tax structure, better tax compliance, reduction in subsidies, encouragement of private sector participation. So, of course, it is not capital market reforms, neither monetary and sector, because monetary and financial sector is related to the interest rate. Trade policy reforms is related to only trade, not with regard to the tax. So, it will be a fiscal reform. Which of the following sectors have recently been included under the PLI scheme? Now, this is a problem with this question because textile have also been included, automobiles also been included, white goods also has been included, but most appropriate answer, if I have to go with, it is white good. But I don't know which, because even in automobiles, the PLI scheme has been, they have been included. So pharmaceutical products also. So the thing is, I don't know which answer will be considered by ICI to be correct, but let's see. Which of the following is not the focus of the monetary and financial sector reforms? Monetary and financial sector reforms. Restricting foreign investment in banks. Let's see. Reducing the burden of non-performing asset on the government banks through introducing and sustaining competition, deregulating interest rate. So they are saying not a focus of monetary and financial. Introducing and sustaining competition. Is it related to monetary and financial sector reforms? The answer is no. It's related to competition policies. So C would be the answer, not a monetary and financial sector reforms. Okay. Which type of economy is described as prevalent in ancient and medieval India? In chapter 10, the very first paragraph mentions self-reliant and prosperous economy. All right. Foreign Investment Promotion Board was abolished in 2017, and which of the following has been replaced? Foreign Investment Facilitation Portal has been introduced in its place. Which of the following is the aim of national manufacturing policy? To increase the share of manufacturing GDP to 25% by the end of 2025. D is the answer. The reason for Kisan Rail is for improvement in par product logistics, a logistic related, uh, you know, uh, uh, yeah, what you can say, a program initiated by the government of India. So the answer is A. Which of the following which facility was provided to industry groups to allow flexibility and rapid changes in their product mix without requiring fresh license, open general license (OGL). Which scheme aims to increase the water use efficiency at the farm level? Per drop more crop. These are all direct questions. What is the form of PMI? Purchase Management Index, Prime Management Index, Property Managers Index. The answer is Purchasing Managers Index. The important feature of mixed economy: coexistence of both agriculture industry, coexistence of both manufacturing service, no coexistence of both private and public sector. C is the answer. Which of the following is not covered under macroeconomics? Overall level of saving and investment macro है, balance of payment macro है, level of employment macro है, behavior of firms micro. An ice cream company is planning to expand its business before making decision, which studies various economic factors such as consumer preference, pricing strategies, employees' wages, ideal location for its outlets. Which level of economy does the company analyze for expansion? First of all, various economic factors: consumer preference, pricing strategy, employee wages, ideal location for its outlets, level of economic. So here you're talking about one sector, because if I'm going to sell ice cream, I'm not interested what is the demand for refrigerators, or what is the demand for air conditioners, or what is the demand for car in a, so in that particular area where I want to sell ice cream. So if I'm going to sell ice cream, I will try to figure out about the ice cream industry, what how many how my competitors are doing, what is their profit margin, at what rate they are selling, how my product will be placed. So what I'm performing is a micro analysis, because one industry I'm talking about. Which of the following statement, but remember, if I'm talking about the general environment in the in the economy, like multiple companies taken together, the GDP, the national income, the unemployment rate, the taxes, so these are all macro there. Which of the following statement is true with relation to the socialist economy, government controlled? All right. Relative inequality of income distribution in the society. First, do one thing, figure out, because the relative lower level of inequality it's missing out here. Freedom from hunger is guaranteed, but consumer sovereignty is restricted. Yes, this is possible. Market forces have major role in allocation of resources. No, this is wrong. So wherever the option 3 is there, statement 3 is wrong. Then buyers ultimately determine which goods and services will be produced in what quantities. Again, this is wrong. Wherever option 4 is there, wrong. So the question is now, relative inequality of income distribution in society, freedom from hunger and guaranteed, but consumer sovereignty is restricted. So I'll go with option statement 2. So that will be B. Because here relative inequality of income distribution, More or less, you have not mentioned. So B. Demand is said to be elastic. This is so easy question. If E is greater than 1. The consumer is said to be equilibrium at the point where price line is tangent to the highest possible indifference curve. Tangent to an indifference curve. Which of the following is not a characteristic of a capitalist economy? Competition will be there, profit motive will be there, freedom of enterprise will be there, collective ownership is found in socialist economy. So D is the answer. What will happen to the demand when larger proportion of people belong to older age group relative to younger age group? There will be increased demand for geriatric care services that is needed by the old people. Spectacles, yes. Walking sticks, yes. There will be increased demand for children book, no. Of course, uh, old people, they are not going to be interested in children book. There will be increased demand for normal goods and services, no. There will be decreased demand for goods and services. So option A is better. Direct question, very simple. Under dash condition, supply will be more than demand. Supply will be more than that under that comes. Okay, under competitive condition, the supply will be more than under monopolized. So that will be the answer. Option A is the answer. In case of uh, in case of a monopoly, the supply will be artificially brought down to charge a higher price from the consumer. Whereas in case of perfect competition, monopolistic, you'll find that competition will bring down the price. So supply will be on the higher side. Which of the following statement is true about given goods? All inferior goods are given goods. Absolutely no. All given goods are inferior goods. Absolutely true. Given goods are inferior goods with close substitute. No. The concept of if a close substitute is available, then the concept of given phenomena will not work. Given goods follows the law of demand. No, it violates the law of demand. So only B is correct. Concept of consumer surplus is closely related to, of course, the demand. So remember, so consumer surplus is the area below the demand curve above the price line. The slope of the budget line is determined by the relative prices of two commodities equal to, of course, price over here between 1 and X and Y. So if there is good Y here and good X here, good Y, if the price of good Y increases, then what will happen? The supply of Y, consumption of Y will decrease and consumption of X will remain same. Sorry, consumption of X will remain same. So in this case, if suppose price of Y increases, then consumption of Y will decrease, but consumption of X remains same. And if price of X decreases, then what will happen? Consumption of Y will remain same, increases, then consumption of Y will remain same, but consumption of X will decrease. So it depends on the price of both X and Y. How does how does increase in income of consumer generally affect demand for normal good? It has no effect. Wrong. Decreases demand. No. Increases demand. Yes. Option C is the answer. If a company increases advertisement expenditure by 20% and the quantity demanded is by 40%, advertisement elasticity of demand, of course, it will be true. Very easy question. Condition for consumer equilibrium E given is, what was the formula? Mu price Mux, which depends on the price of X, equals to Mu of Y, which depends on the price of Y. So which is the answer? It's not clear here. Mux by price of X, the by sign is here. Muy by price of Y. Yes, C is the correct answer here. Which of the following curve is also known as planned curve? Planned curve is short run average cost curve. Planning curve is long run average cost curve. When average product rises as a result of increase in the quantity of variable input, average product is rising. All right. When the average product is rising, it means marginal product must be above the average product. So, so the marginal product is more than the average product. Yes. Now, in this question here, let's figure it out. Based on the following information given in the table, answer the question 43 to 45. Okay, let's see. So first of all, 20 is given here. One input, this is changing by 1. So I can write marginal product here as 20. Alright, sorry, total product here is 20. And average product will be 20 here again. 20 divided by 1 is 20. Then I know that total product, and when I add this marginal product, what I'll get here is 46. That will be the, so 20 here and 26 here. So that will be 46. All right, total product. So average product here, if I want to find out, 23. All right. Then you have 26 here and 66 here. Now, if I want to find out the average product here, 66 divided by 3. So 22. Correct. And if I want to find out marginal product here, 66 minus 46, that will be 20 divided by 3 minus 2. So that will be 20 here. Now let's see what will be the average product when the quantity of labor is 3. Quantity of labor 3, average product is 22. Correct answer. What will be the total product when quantity of labor is 5? Let's figure it out. So 66 is here. So if I want to find out here, average product is given 4. So average product is 19 into 4. That will be 76, right? So here marginal product will be 76 minus 66 divided by 4 minus 3. So that will be marginal product will be 10 here, correct? And if here marginal product is 10, then and here it's given as 4, 76 plus 4 is 80 here, right? So average product will be here. How much if I have to calculate average product? 5 1 times, 5 6 times. So that will answer all our question. So total product when quantity of labor is 5, total product is 80 is the answer. What will be the marginal product when quantity of labor is 4? Marginal product when quantity of labor is 4 is answer is 10. Alright. I hope this helps. Cobb Douglas production function. Cobb Douglas production function. Output is manufactured. Output is manufactured production and input used are labor and capital. Remember the formula A equals to L to the power A into the C to the power 1 minus A. Alright. K into. Alright. Now, after identifying market, and remember here, they could have also asked the question that how much of labor and how much of capital goes, that we know that labor consists of 75% and capital consists of 25%. So they could have asked you this question as well. After identifying the market, enterprise has to make decision regarding four P's. Product, promotion, profit, place, no. Product, promotion, price, purchase, no. Product, promotion, price and place. Product, purchase, price and placement, no. Product, purchase, no. Promotion, price and placement would have been a better option, but let's see. If a firm, so the best option, the best possible option, I'll go with C. If a firm adds more number of workers but the total output starts to increase at a decreasing rate than it is experiencing, it means it is experiencing a diminishing return, diminishing marginal return, because output is increasing at a diminishing rate. Which of the following statement are correct? A period where will be considered short run period if the amount of at least one input used remains unchanged during the period. That is true. Correct. Now, if all of these questions and the concepts you have studied in the class, the long run is a period of time with which all factors of production are variable. This is also true. In the short run, all inputs are fixed. Wrong. Hai. In the long run, all inputs except one are fixed. Again, wrong. So only one and two are correct. So So option C. Which of the following factors of resources make it possible to produce goods and services? Land, labor, fiscal policy, land, labor, industrial policy, land, labor, capital, and entrepreneur. You're talking about the business. You're not talking about government policy. You're not talking about the economy. You're talking about what are the resources which are needed to produce goods and services and to run a business efficiently. Okay. Assuming the supply of cars will remain constant, supply is remaining constant. The price of cars are expected to increase. So future expected change in price. If I expect the price of something is going to express increase in future, then the demand will increase during the current time period. So it will lead to rightward shift in the demand curve. So correctly, the student has marked it. Now this particular question options are wrong because when you're talking about the shutdown, production shutdown or continuation, you have to compare price or AR with average variable cost. Now, none of the options makes any sense. It's total revenue less than marginal revenue, total revenue less than total cost. It's total revenue less than average variable cost. Now, I think the misprint here is there. So, it will be average revenue less than average variable cost. So, those who have solved question number 52, if they've got it wrong, they should be getting a grace mark, I suppose. Under which of the following? Because the correct answer will be shut down. A competitive firm should shut down. It means it will shut down at the point where price or AR is less than AVC. Next, under which of the following forms of market structure firms cannot influence the price of its products? Mean the firm is a price taker. Price taker is a perfect competition. What is the average variable cost when quantity produced is 100 units? Total cost is total cost is 1000 and fixed cost is 200. So total cost is 1000, fixed cost is 200, and total variable cost will be how much? 800, and output is 100. So average variable cost will be 800 by 100. So the answer will be 8. An increase in supply with unchanged demand. So what will happen? Supply increases and demand remains the same. Then the price will go down and quantity will go up. Price will go up and quantity demanded will go down. No. Increase in supply, price will go down. Equilibrium price will go down and quantity demanded will go up. Yes. Equilibrium price will go up. No. Go down will also go down. No. So increase in supply, I've told you that whether supply increases or demand increases, the both increases doesn't matter. When they increase, quantity will increase. But when supply increases, price will go down. When demand increases, price will go up. Which of the following is the fundamental cause of creation of monopoly? Fundamental cause: low startup cost, high competition, equal distribution, or barriers to entry. That is the way you can create a monopoly by stopping or blocking the entry of any new firms. A fast food chain introduces a new burger with a new sauce to differentiate itself from competitors. Although many similar burgers options are available, it means similar but non-identical goods. In the market, customers perceive this product as distinct. It means there is some difference. Which type of market structure has been represented in the given scenario? Monopolistic competition. Similar but non-identical goods are sold. Identify the correct formula for marginal direct question, marginal revenue, TRN minus 1. When both demand and supply decrease, both demand and supply, they have not mentioned by what margin. For so many times we have covered this question in the classroom. That of course we know for one thing that quantity will fall down, but price cannot be determined because if the demand falls more than supply, then the price will fall down. If supply falls more than demand, then the price will increase. And if they both fall by the same margin, then the price will remain constant. In this question, they have not mentioned this. So I will cannot assume anything with regard to price. But I know for certainty that demand quantity will fall down. The equilibrium quantity decreases and but the change in equilibrium price is uncertain. Decreased and uncertain. B is the answer, not D. Aluminium industry is an example of, you see, Pure or a perfect oligopoly would be the answer. So they've not given pure, so I'll go with perfect oligopoly. Kinked demand is also only found in oligopoly given by Sweezy. Kinked demand hypothesis, price rigidity. Above the kink E is greater than 1, below the kink E is less than 1. Which of the following is not the objective of price discrimination? To enjoy economies of scale, to earn maximum profit, to hold excess stock. That is not the reason. To secure equity through pricing. So in this case, holding excess stock is an objective. It is usually found in case of monopolistic competition. Secure equity through pricing. This is also not found under monopoly. So not the objective of price discrimination. I'll go with both option C and D. I don't know why they give such options wherein that is not found under monopoly. Correct. So again, there is a dispute between C and D option over here. Which type of firm has the market power to charge a price above the cost and earn a positive profit? Of course, it is a monopoly firm. Suppose that the cost of producing 1,000 units of a product by a firm is 15,000. The entrepreneur has invested 50,000 in the business at a normal rate of return market is 10%. It means he'll be losing 10%, which is of 50,000. That is his opportunity cost. So implicit cost is 5,000, 10% of 50,000. When there is a decrease in demand due to fall in income, will supply remain the same? What happens to the demand curve? Decrease in demand due to fall in income, while supply remains the same. So there will be leftward shift in the demand curve. So decrease in demand due to fall in income, of course, no problems. It will shift to the left vertical now. Now here, they've asked you what will be the inflation rate in FY 22-23, 22-23, and FY 21, 20, 21 and 22. All right. So what you have to find out is nothing but what is the percentage difference between these two. So that will be 168.4 minus 154.25 divided by what was the previous one? 154.25 into 100. When you do this, how much do you get? So you'll get that will be 168.4 minus 154.25, that is 14 divided by 154.25 into 100. So you're getting 9.17. C will be the answer. In which year, in which FY nominal GDP and real GDP are the same, where the deflator value is 100, so 2021 is the answer. In which year price level has fallen, inflation has fallen. You see here inflation is rising, here inflation is rising, but between 23 and 24, alright, 2023 and 24, where it's gone, 23 and 24, the inflation has actually fallen, deflator value has fallen down. There are three different interlinked phases in the circular flow of income: production, disposition, distribution. Alright, yeah, that will be the correct answer. Production, consumption, investment, production, circular flow of income. If the consumption function is C equals to 10 plus 0.5y, investment is 200, and what will be the equilibrium level of income? What did I tell you? That y equals to C plus I. C is 10 plus 0.5, y plus I is 200. So point y will go down here. Y minus 0.5 is 0.5, y equals to 210. So y will be 210 divided by 0.5. That will be 420. That will be your answer. The maximum value of investment multiplier will be infinite when value of MPC is yes, yeah, MPC is 1. Why? Because what was the formula for while multiplier? K equals to 1 by 1 minus MPC. So 1 minus MPC, if the value of MPC is 1, so 1 minus 1, so 1 by 0, 0 by 1, you'll have the maximum value infinite when MPC is 1. Now calculate the consumption of fixed capital, that is depreciation you have to calculate. So first of all, you find out GDP at market price is given. Can I find out GNP at market price? We know that GNP at market price is GDP at market price plus NFIA. So GDP at market price is 8,000 and NFIA is 200. So 8,200. Correct. And we know that if we have got GNP at market price, that is 8,200, and they've given NNP. NNP at market price is 5,600. So the difference between gross national product and net national product is what? Due to depreciation. Is due to depreciation. So the difference between them will be your answer, that is 2,600. All right. All right. Market is opened up. Right. If national income increases by rupees 500 crore, sorry, national income increases from 500 crore to 2,500 crore due to increase in investment by 200 crore. So, what is the change in income? Change in income is 2,000 and change in investment is 200. So, it will be 10 times. That was the value of K. K equals to 10 times. And you have to find out marginal propensity to consume. We know another formula for K is 1 by 1 minus B. And we know that the value of K is 10. So, can we write it here? 10 equals to 1 by 1 minus B. So when I take it over there, it will become 10 minus 10B equals to 1. So minus 10B equals to 9. Minus 9 minus minus cancelled out. So B will be 9 by 10. So 0.09. Now, particulars. Net domestic product at market price is given. What you have to find out? You have to find out, calculate NFIA from abroad. Okay. Net domestic product and net national product. What is the difference between domestic and national? NFIA. So NFIA is 2,000 rupees here. A direct question. They've given other values to just to deviate you. If GDP deflator is greater than 100, it indicates nominal GDP is greater than real GDP. Yes. Any value above deflator of 100 is considered as inflation. All these things, most of these things are already covered in the class. The concept, the ideas. I know examples here and there a little bit different, but if you have stuck to the classroom, uh, you know, uh, class notes and the MCQs that I've shared, you could have easily scored above 85, 90 in this paper. So, Gamma Limited, a South Korean company, earns profit from its manufacturing operations in India. How this profit will be reflected in the economic measure of both the country? Earns profit from its manufacturing op, so it will be added to India GDP, but South Korea's GNP. They will be included in India GDP, but not in South Korea GNP. No, it will be in, first part is correct, second is wrong. They will be included in India GDP and South Korea GDP. No, wrong. They will be included in India GDP and South Korea GNP. Yes, that is correct. C is the answer. If average propensity to save is 4%, I mean 40%, 0.4, that is 40%, their income is 25,000. So, Baba, 40%. So 25,000 into 0.4. So that will be 10,000 as the answer. Easy. Which of the following is anti-inflationary measure that puts downward pressure on aggregate demand, causing the economy to slow down? Yes, it means contractionary fiscal policy they are asking. Increase government expenditure. No. Expansion ही हो गया. Reduction in government spending, yes. Decrease in interest rate, no, it will further expand. Decrease in taxes, further expand. So B is the only answer. The slope of consumption function is represented by, it is represented by marginal propensity to consume. Alright, the degree of the consumption curve is determined by the value of B. Who are the economists credited by with pioneering national income accounting? Simon Kuznets and Richard Stone. The first thing that we wrote when we started the national income concept. If a country has following economic data, GDP at market price is 2000 billion. Indirect taxes IDT is 250 billion and subsidies 100 billion. What is the GDP at factor cost? We know that GDP at factor cost equals to GDP at market price, that is 2000. Let me write it here straight away. 2000. 2000 minus net indirect taxes. So that will be indirect taxes will be 250 minus and subsidies 100 positive. So 1850 will be your answer. Which of the following is true with the about the duration and intensity of business cycle? Business cycle exhibits same duration, wrong. Half of the option you will read. If business cycle the fixed duration, no. Business cycle varies in duration, correct. And intensity, yes. It means intensity and duration is different, but they share common features. Common features means what? When there is an expansion, inflation will increase, unemployment will come down, all right, money supply will increase, so on and so forth. When there is a contraction, then business profit will go down, unemployment will rise, all right. Government revenue from taxes will rise, non-performing asset with the bank will increase, the bank will go through. I mean, the situation is similar, but the gravity or the degree of changes will be different. So C is the correct answer. Do not vary in duration, wrong. Article 275 of the Indian Constitution, it is with regard to the grant in aid given to the states from the center. Direct question. The advent of mobile phone, which led to the boom in the telecom, exemplifies with what, which external cause of business cycle? Technological shock. We have written this in class. Covered also. Which of the following best describe the economic conditions during bad trade in a business cycle? Bad trade in a business cycle. It means contraction हो रहा है. Falling prices, correct. High unemployment rate, correct. But if suppose you're not sure about it, let's eliminate the wrong option. We'll see. Rising prices, inflation, cost of living will increase means demand is rising. So demand doesn't increase when the market is going down. Low unemployment rate that happened during expansion. High consumer confidence during contraction and boom. Sorry, during expansion and boom. Rising wages, again, businesses are willing to pay more because their profitability is increasing big. And that happens during expansion, not during contraction. Increasing demand and production, again, all these are related to expansionary phase. Falling prices and higher unemployment rate is the one that happened during contraction or bad cycle. Business cycle typically consists of which of the following? Phase is not clearly visible, but yet see. Expansion, उसके बाद peak, alright, expansion, peak, contraction, and trough or depression. So this is the correct linear progression. The government used proceeds from progressive tax to supply essential food grains at highly subsidized price to BPL household redistribution function. Richard Musgrave, we have covered this. The Right to Children for Free and Compulsory Education Act 2009, which mandates free and compulsory education for every child between the age of 6 to 14 years, an example of, again, it's a part of intervention by the government to promote those public goods which are very significantly, going to affect economy positively in the long run. They have significant merits. So, public goods will be the answer. Government intervention in case of merit goods. Just hold on. Education which mandates free and compulsory education for children. Yeah, I'll go better with public goods. But here the problem is education is also a merit good, which mandates free and compulsory education. Free and compulsory education. Now that the problem comes here, education is also a merit good. So government can impose, upon people to educate their child, as in case of RTE, right to education, wherein kids between 6 to 14 years, they have the fundamental right to education, and it has been included in the uh, in as a part of the fundamental right. So now public goods becomes very, very generic term because public goods for many things so becomes a cause of concern here. So I would go with merit goods. Intervention in case of merit goods would be better option because every public goods cannot be provided, neither every merit goods can be provided. And because in your ICA book also, if you see that the handout that I've shared, you'll find that government intervention in case of merit goods explicitly is mentioned there, and wearing seat belt, wearing helmet, right to education is mentioned over there, insurance policy, vaccination, compulsory vaccination. So if I go by that, then I will go with option B, which is a merit good. Who introduced the concept of collective consumption, which later came to as a public goods? Paul A. Samuelson gave the concept of public good. Direct question. If government revenue receipt for a year is 10,000 crore, capital receipt excluding borrowing, it means non-debt capital borrowing receipt is 2000 crore. Revenue expenditure is 12,000. Capital expenditure, so it means total expenditure is 12 plus 5 is 17K. And total revenue receipts, total receipt without any capital, receipt which requires borrowing will be non-debt capital receipt. You can say 10,000 plus 2,000 is 12,000. So 12,000 is your receipt side and expense. So 5,000 crore is the fiscal deficit that will be required for borrowing. Contractual fiscal policy typically involves, now mind it, fiscal policy they've mentioned. Reducing contractually, reducing government spending, correct. Increasing taxes, correct. A is correct. Increasing government spending will lead to further expansion. The part of expansionary. Reducing taxes, expansionary. Increasing government spending, increasing taxes. Which will neutralize one, will neutralize another. Reducing government both spending and taxes. Again, one will neutralize another. A is the answer. The situation when market does not supply product at all, despite that such products and services wanted by the people is at all they've mentioned. So it will be a complete market failure when the market is not at all providing anything. For initial deposit of 6 lakh, the credit creation is calculated as 50. So simple, Baba. 6 lakh divided by 50 lakh. Right? So whatever answer you'll, so that will be 0.1 to 12%. Alex has taken a comprehensive car insurance which covers the cost of repairs in the car damaged to an accident. As a result, he drives more recklessly, knowing that his insurance will cover any damage. Over time, he gets into more accident and files more insurance claims. This example I have given you in the class as well. That is nothing but an example of moral hazard. You become morally bankrupt and you misuse the insurance policy that will impose additional cost over other, because if payout for the insurance company increases, it will increase the premium for everybody. So your action is imposing cost over others or decreasing the benefit available to others. Under 266(1), the Constitution of India, which of the following relation to all fund flow banker, or that will be public accounts. 266(1). Is defined as the excess of total estimated expenditure over all estimated revenue, and is the difference between all receipts and all expenditure, both revenue and capital, that will be a budgetary deficit. What is the primary objective of monetary policy in most countries, including India? Primary objective, monetary policy they were asked. To maintain balance between price stability, it means inflation and economic growth corrected. To ensure high level of government spending, that is a part of fiscal policy. Promote export-led growth, again part of fiscal policy. Control exchange rate at all costs, no. That they have asked you primary objective. I've told you primary objective is two things, and from there everything flows in the class notes that was given to you. So first, ensure that there is stable growth rate with tolerable rate of inflation. Which of the following is not the quantitative tool used by RBI to control money supply? Statutory liquidity, open market, cash reserve ratio, that will all affect the money supply. These are all part of quantitative. Selective credit control, that is a part of qualitative. So C is the answer here. Which of the following statement is true in relation to cryptocurrency? Okay. These have achieved significant legislative recognition. No, in many countries they are not recognized. For example, in India, it is not considered as a legal tender. Yes, government will tax it, but it's not considered as a legal tender. They are not legally recognized in India as a currency. Yes, तो जहाँ जहाँ टू है वो करेक्ट हो जाएगा. So these are not categorized as money. It is in India. It serves as a legitimate form of payment of goods and services in the same way as traditional money. No, this is wrong. So wherever 4 is there, that will go out. So these are not 2 and 3 would be the answer here. These are not legally recognized in India. They are not recognized as money. This is also correct, but in India it serves as a legitimate payment for goods and services. No, they have recognized significant. No, they've asked you true. True is only option 2 and 3. If the money supply is 1000 billion and monetary base is 200, simple. What was the formula? Money supply was money multiplier into monetary base. All right. They've given money supply is 1000, monetary base is 200. So you have to find out money multiplier. So this will go down 1000 by 200. M will be 1000 by 200. That will be 5 times. Now, one thing I have to tell you, students, if you have covered my class, you have written all the notes, you have referred the class handouts which was given to you and discussed and solved all the MCQs, then in this paper, I can understand 5, 6 questions are from here and there. That's forget about that. Forget about 10 questions. Forget about even 15 questions. But 85 questions you could have easily solved in this paper. You could have scored I know that many of you would have are going to score above 80 in the subject of economics, and many will go above 1995 as well. Because 80 questions to 85 questions you can directly hit from the class notes and the handouts given to you, and of course the nuclear weapon, the MCQ handout that was provided to you. All right. So please analyze your paper and don't panic. Now it's time for you to chill, rest for a while and get ready for your intermediate. I wish you all the best. Bye bye. Take care.